Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney and this is my corner of the internet where I talk about knitting, things I'm making, things I want to make, yarn, stuff like that. So if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe and let's get into it. I have just like a normal knitting podcast for you guys today, and I'm really excited because I have several just fun, exciting, long overdue finished objects to share with you guys. So I'm excited for that. Also, I'm 31 weeks pregnant and I'm kind of like got a brain fog thing going on / get out of breath quickly. So sorry in advance if that's gonna, you'll probably see that in this video, but maybe not. Anyways, yeah, so I guess first up I'll start with some of my finished objects that I completed recently, starting with what I'm wearing, which I'm really excited about. So this is my Grettir Sweater by Brooklyn Tweed, and I am obsessed with this. I am so happy with how it turned out. I made the 44-inch size. So the sizing on this one is just based on your measurements. And so I think this was like the 4th or 5th size. I can't remember exactly. I'll put on the screen which size I made. But yeah, which is definitely, like, usually I would do this 1st or 2nd size, but this time I sized up and I wanted something very cozy, oversized, comfortable. So I went with this bigger size, which gives me a little over 10 inches of positive ease, and I just love it. I love it so much. It's definitely like a woolly, cozy sweatshirt vibe. But yeah, so I just blocked it 2 days ago. It took like over 2 days to dry. And yeah, finally put it on today, and it's so woolly and delightful and I just love it. Yeah, so I'll talk about the yarn I used first. For the main color, the brown, I used Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool in the color Brown Heather, and I bought it a few years ago from Joann's. They had it on sale, and I bought, I think, four skeins, I guess. I mean, they're giant. They're 220 gram skeins, and I bought 4 or 5. I can't remember exactly, but anyways, for this I only used 2, and even on the second one I barely dipped into the second one, which is crazy. So I still have 2 entire skeins left over of Lion Brand's Fisherman's Wool that I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. And then for my contrast colors, I used Lopi Let Lopi, Icelandic wool, and this is my first time using it. I absolutely loved the Lion Brand Fisherman's Wool. Working with it, it was so wonderful, like just to knit with. It was so smooth, it was not splitty, it was great. And I love how big the skeins are, because then you don't have to like join in yarn as frequently, so less ends to weave in. And yeah, I really love the yarn. The Let Lopi I was not as into. I love the like woolly rustic vibe, but I was really surprised because it was so like thick and thin, like way more than I was expecting. And so I feel like that kind of, I don't know, it just threw me off. I didn't love it as much. It was pretty splitty, so I had to just like be careful. I had to kind of watch my stitches more than I usually do to make sure that I wasn't like splitting each stitch. I would definitely use it again, but it was just, yeah, way more like the spin was really uneven and it was super thick and thin, which I feel like made my colorwork gauge a little weird. But I feel like overall it looks good. This is my first adult sized colorwork sweater, like stranded color work. I've done mosaic, but stranded color work. So it was so fun. I really loved the color work portion. Yeah, just made it go by super quick and was like addicting to work on. I really loved it. Very happy with how it turned out. I love the oversizedness of it. I've never been like one who's super into the Icelandic outdoorsy super rustic sweaters like this. But until I found this pattern, and yeah, I was just looking through, there's like over 700 projects on Ravelry of this sweater, and I was looking through all the projects and I was just super inspired. And yeah, we are hoping to take a vacation to the Teton Mountains at some point this year, hopefully. And I was just like imagining hiking, you know, with this sweater if I need it. Probably won't need it because it might be warm, but I'm like, I just want like a rugged outdoorsy sweater to like hike in on a chilly morning. And I was like, this is the one that I'm gonna make. So yeah, I just fell in love with it. I really loved the color work. It was a little bit stressful because it's like I'm constantly carrying around. There was a few rows too of three stranded color work. Not my favorite, but super cool to watch work up and like watch the design come to life. Yeah, and then I'll talk about the construction, which was super different than anything I've done before. So I have knit sweaters bottom up before. This sweater is also bottom up, but it was significantly different than other sweaters I've made. So yeah, it's knit bottom up, and you can start with the sleeves or the body, either one. I started with the body and did a tubular cast on with some waste yarn, which worked out great. And the pattern is like just so detailed, like almost too detailed to the point where I was like, I don't need to know all this information, kind of like. I think Brooklyn Tweed is known for that. That's like their thing. And so it was helpful in some cases, like their description of the tubular cast on was like sufficient enough for me to follow their instructions, and I didn't have to go look up a video, which was nice. But yeah, very detailed schematics, all of the things. There was never a point that I didn't understand what to do, which I feel like usually in some patterns it's like you might get confused at some point or there's not enough information, but this one has a lot. So it was great in that sense. But yeah, so knit bottom up, tubular cast on. Yeah, and then I just knit into the recommended length, which for this one, I did the shaped version. There's two different versions for this pattern. There's a classic version, and then there's a shaped version. The shaped version is a little bit longer, so I opted for that one because I wanted something like pretty long and more oversized so that I wear it throughout pregnancy, which like it's already getting warmer here, so I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to wear this really, but you know, hopefully I'll have it for years to come and be able to wear it if I don't know, if we ever have another baby, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. So anyways, yeah, and then you also knit the sleeves bottom up, and you also do a tubular cast on for the sleeves. I mean, it's optional, but I chose to do it. I just love the way it looks. I think it's just so beautiful and polished. Yeah, just love it. So yeah, I knit the sleeves bottom up, which I actually really liked doing. Like not that I prefer bottom up, I won't say that, but I didn't mind it. Like it was fine. And it was not difficult to connect the body to the sleeves. Like the pattern was just super clear. And basically, once you finish both sleeves, which it took me a while to finish. I finished the body and then I finished a sleeve. And then I still didn't have my contrast colors ordered yet. I just kept putting it off. So finally, I like chose my colors, ordered the yarn, and then it came in the mail pretty quickly. But yeah, so then I knit the other sleeve. I was like, all right, once that yarn came in the mail, I was like, all right, let's do this. Like, I want to be able to wear this. I got really excited about it again. So, yeah, you basically knit both sleeves bottom up, and you put a few stitches on hold for the body and for the sleeves, and that's going to end up being your underarm stitches. And so, yeah, you do that, and then you leave each sleeve and the body on a cable, and then you basically just knit across the front of the body, like, which is like right under the yoke, and then you just knit across the sleeve. So like I had a needle on the sleeve on the cable waiting, and then I just, yeah, knit across the sleeve, knit across the back, and then you knit across the other sleeve, and it's connected. Like, it was so easy. It was not, it was not like, it wasn't finicky, it wasn't difficult, it was super chill. And then, yeah, and then you do a few rows. I think you do short rows. I know for sure there were 3 different times that you do short rows, which was a lot, but it wasn't that bad. And I think it's totally worth it because the fit is pretty good. Like it sits well, and it's not like the neckline isn't riding up at all. This is the first day I've worn it, so like, I don't know, but yeah, it seems to fit pretty well because of that. And I just think that the attention to detail in the design is like amazing, and I love it. What the sun is doing right now, but it is bright. Anyways, yeah, so you connect the body and sleeves. It was not hard to do. It was super easy. And then you leave these like underarm stitches on hold. And then after I did the yoke and the collar and everything, then I went back and you graft the held underarm stitches to the held body stitches. And they're like the same number. So you just Kitchener stitch those together. Super easy. And then that was it. And after I grafted the stitches for the underarm together, I had like some little holes. There were like 2 little, like a, little gap. And so I just went in and like wove in my ends, like duplicate stitched, and it was fine. So I'll see if you can see like what that, hopefully that'll focus. But yeah, you just graft those stitches together. And yeah, because I knit a size, a couple sizes bigger than what I normally would, I knew that the yoke was going to be inevitably be deeper. And so it is like pretty long on me, like my armpit ends like right here, and it's like, so it's like several inches longer, but honestly I don't mind it. It's like, it's just so woolly, cozy, oversized, outdoorsy vibes sweater. So yeah, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I am just proud of myself for knitting a stranded colorwork sweater for the first time, adult size. And yeah, super excited to wear this for years to come. I have a couple more finished objects that I will talk about. My next finished object is these mittens that I made for my husband. These are the Ole mittens by Suzanne Mueller. Maybe, I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. I can't remember who it's by, but they're called the Ole mittens. I think that's how you say it. And yeah, love these. I'm glad that I made them. Did I enjoy making them? No. I'm just gonna say no. And I think brioche is just not my thing. I think it's just not gonna be my thing. But I think another reason is that I messed up some of the increases and I had to like rip back, and that was like a nightmare. So don't recommend that. But I did it, and I'm really glad these are done because didn't really enjoy the process. But this was my first time knitting brioche. I know brioche is like an acquired taste, I guess. I don't know. I feel like people either love it or hate it, so I'm kind of leaning towards being a hater, but I love the way it looks. Like, I think it's worth it. Like, the fabric it creates is totally worth it. Like, I love the stitch pattern. Like, I love the way it looks. But will I knit a brioche sweater? Probably not. But I think part of the reason why I didn't like it also is because I was knitting it on 9-inch circulars, you know, and so like that hurts my hands a little bit more than, like, the way I have to hold the needles and the yarn is a little bit different than if I like have a big longer needles and a bigger cable. So that was definitely part of it. But yeah, I mean, pattern was great. Finished object is great. My husband really loves these. He's worn them. I finished these maybe like a month ago, like right after my last video that I made on YouTube. So yeah, he's been wearing these for a little bit, and I love the thumb gusset detail. I'll try to focus on that. But yeah, this pattern calls for a tubular cast on, which I did not do because I didn't want to. So I did a long tail cast on. And I asked my husband, I was like, do you care? Like, this is what that means. Like, this is the difference. And he was like, I don't care. So yeah, I just did a long tail cast on. And I also held 2 fingering weight yarns together to get a DK weight gauge. And honestly, I think it's a little thicker than a DK weight gauge. It almost feels like closer to a worsted a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty dense, but yeah, I think it turned out great. I definitely recommend the pattern. I don't know if I'll make these again because brioche sucks, but maybe I'll get used to it. I don't know. Yeah, let me know if you love brioche and if there's like something I'm missing. If it is the 9-inch circular thing that made it not fun, I don't know. But yeah, Olay mittens were great. Oh yeah, the yarn. So I forgot to mention the yarn. So I used Coast to Coast Yarn Co. classic stock for one of the yarns, the dark blue. And the color is called Return from a Watery Grave. And it was one of her like collections from last year, I think. Yeah. So I've had it in stash for a while, and I just was like, my husband picked out these colors and I was happy to get out of stash. I have a lot left over, quite a bit left over, so I think I'll probably use it in some scrappy project or something. And then the like brown, like mauve color is ZZ Textiles Silk Sock, which is superwash merino and silk, and it's in the color Brown Bun from one of her collections last year too. So yeah, really happy with these mittens. Glad that my husband will have warm hands. So there's that. And then my third finished object is my Sunflower Power socks. So let me grab these guys. Boom. Here they are. I'm really proud of these. They're like not perfect by any means. My colorwork tension on small circumference socks is not like the best, but I am just really proud of them. And they look so good on my feet. Like, I just feel like when I'm wearing them, like they look better than they do right now. I feel like right now there's like some puckering for sure. But yeah, I finished these, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And yeah, I mean, I finished the first sock in 1 week, which is insane. Like, I've never done that before. And if you watched my last video, I showed some of the process, and yeah, I finished it in a week, which was crazy. But the second sock took me like longer because I wasn't as excited about it as you know how it goes if you're a knitter. Yeah, so I really love these. Pattern was great. I casted on 64 stitches, and then yeah, you increase for the colorwork portion and then decrease again. You decrease again at the heel and then at the toe as well, back down to your original stitch count. And these fit so well. I'm so glad. If you remember from my first podcast, maybe if any of you have watched it, that one was a little rough. But I made the mushroom, what was it called? The mushroom socks. I don't know. The mushroom socks by Stone Knit. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, my tension on that was like really bad, and it was just really rough. That was my first ever colorwork sock attempt. And so after that, I was like, I need to figure out what I'm doing because this is like harder than I thought. And so I took Charlotte from Stone Knits. She has a course, like an online course. It's called like Colorwork Sock 101 or something. And it's on Domestika, and it's so worth it. It's only a couple dollars. So I bought that. I watched all her videos, like read everything. So I ended up knitting these on a 2.5 millimeter needle, and I think that's what helped me, because before I was using a 2 millimeter or US 1. I was using a smaller size, and it was just too small. So yeah, that helped me achieve these socks, and I just think the colors are super fun. These are not my normal colors, like super bright and vibrant, but I think they're just super fun. And yeah, I love primary colors. I think they're they're super fun and classic. And yeah, I just love these socks. And now that I've shown them to you guys, I will start wearing them. I wanted them to like be blocked and like look decent for the video, but anyways, yeah. So let's talk about my works in progress. I will start with some that you guys have already seen before, if you're a returning viewer, and then I'll talk about some projects that I've started that haven't been shown. But first up is my Ante shawl, which I haven't worked on in a couple weeks, but I went really hard on for a while, and I made some good progress. I feel like shawls are just one of those things that are just gonna take a long time, you know? And it's like, I'm totally cool with that, but I'm excited to have it done. So this is my Ante shawl. This is what it's looking like right now. Let me see if I can it's super bunched up on the needles, so let me kind of stretch it out. And boom. We are getting there. So yeah, this is the Ante shawl by Natasha Hornby. And this is a mosaic colorwork fingering weight shawl. And yeah, I'm super stoked to have this finished object. And not only that, but the process has been so fun to work on. I really truly love mosaic knitting. It is so fun. It is so easy, easier than stranded color work, and I think just as beautiful in some cases. Yeah, so this will definitely be this is just a woolly, cozy statement shawl thing. So yeah, I'm excited. The shape of this, I think, is called crescent or half moon or something shape of shawl. And basically this is where I cast it on right here, and then you just slowly but surely increase. I think I'm increasing every other row, and I have been since the beginning, so I'm still increasing. So that means like every row takes a while at this point. Yeah, so I put this aside for a little bit because I've been working on this sweater, and yeah, just other things have taken up my time. But I really love this. I am using, this is what the wrong side looks like if you're curious. It's just kind of fun to look at. Yeah, so I am using I'm blanking on the name. Pregnancy brain, man. It'll get you. Sonder Yarn Co. Wow, sorry. Sonder Yarn Co. Sunday morning 4-ply, fingering weight 4-ply. And it is truly a delight to work with. It is not splitty. It is bouncy and woolly and springy. So lovely to knit with. Like, I use wooden needles, I use bamboo, whatever these are. These are like knit picks. Like, the set is like 60 bucks. Honestly, I would love to get a new set of like Chiagu metal, the like $200 one, but we're not there yet. I mean, I'm there mentally, but financially I'm not there yet. So eventually I will splurge on those needles. But yeah, I've just been using these wooden ones, and this yarn is so great even on wooden needles. Like, I feel like wooden needles can sometimes slow you down with certain yarns, but this is just, the yarn is just so nice. And it's like rustic without feeling scratchy. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just awesome. Highly recommend. Anyways, yeah, so I'm using the color Wonderlust, this green. The gray is the color Offline, and this like orangey brown is the color Full English. And I just love it. I love these colors together. I think they're just so earthy and beautiful. And I'm super excited. So yeah, I am well into the colorwork chart, the mosaic chart at this point. I'm like halfway through this motif, and at this point it's like leading up to this, I was able to just like look at the pattern and it would like tell me what to do, and then I wouldn't have to look at it after that, and I could like knit a couple rows because I would just like know, like I'm just knitting. And oh, another good thing about this is that there's like no purl rows. Like, you do have to purl sometimes because there's some ribbed texture in there where you're knitting like knit, purl, whatever. But like, there's no like just purling, which is really nice. So like, even on the wrong side, you just knit, and it's awesome. So anyways, but at this point, I'm having to look at the pattern like the entire time for every single row, for every single stitch, because it's all color work, and it's like I'm slipping stitches, I'm not slipping stitches, I'm like, so that's why I'm like kind of slowed down on this a little bit, because it just requires like all of my focus on the pattern, which is on my laptop. So I'm like, yeah, anyways, but super stoked on this, excited to have it, and I just love mosaic knitting. So that's my first whip. And my second whip is my Stella quilt cushion, which I'm gonna grab over here. Okay, so my camera died, and I'm just gonna finish this video on my phone because I can't be bothered. So anyways, my Stella quilt cushion is my next whip. And I actually, this has been like a languishing whip. I cast this on like a year and a half ago, I think. Yeah, so not great, but yeah, I wasn't really bothered by it. I feel like it's a great pattern, don't get me wrong. I just haven't been drawn to it because I would just much rather work on wearable garments, like wearable items and garments. That's my thing. So I think like housewares is not really my thing, but I still really want the finished object. Like I want it on our couch. I think it'll be so cute, and it's just such a good way to use up some like minis, some scrap yarn that I had. So yeah, I will show you guys my progress. I am so close to being done with the front panel of the cushion. I love it. Love it. I'm like in the middle of a row because I had to put it down because I have 2 kids. So anyways, yeah, I think it's gonna be so fun to have. Sorry, there's like some cats fighting outside. I can see, it's weird. Anyways, yeah, this is a pattern by, it's called the Stella Quilt Cushion by Laura Penrose, and it's a super like clever and fun design. Pretty much there's a lot of short rows. Each triangle, so each one is a square, and then you like work up a triangle and then you decrease the other end. And to work up the triangle, you use short rows, which is really cool. It's just really clever, like fun design. But yeah, I also just haven't been drawn to working on it because it just takes a lot of like brain power and a lot of like looking at the pattern and figuring out which square you're on and stuff like that. And I just, and it's a lot of like, because it's short rows constantly, it's like a lot of flipping back and forth and like starting and stopping and like tons of ends to weave in, and I just haven't wanted to work on it, but I am determined to finish it because I'm just sick of it taking up space. It's like been in a basket and I just like want the basket for other projects. So that's part of it. But yeah, I'll talk about the yarn I'm using. I forget what this is called, so let's see. Okay, so my main color is, it's called Oh My Pebbles Woolly, and it is made with 100% recycled material. It's 65% wool, 10% polyester, 10% acrylic, 10% nylon, and 5% other, whatever that means. Yeah, I got this at my local yarn shop, and I like the color. I don't like the yarn very much. I just, it's almost like cotton vibes. Like the yarn is not super easy to knit with. Like it's very sticky. It's very like, I don't know how to do, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the way it feels like in my hands and on the needles. It doesn't feel, I don't know if it's like the polyester that's throwing me off or what exactly, but yeah, love the color. I think it's great. I just don't love the yarn. I'm pretty sure this is a DK weight. This is the color cream. And then all my other colors are, actually, okay, so this one is the color Croissant in the yarn Sunday by Sandus Garn. And I just had some leftover from a baby sweater that I made, so I am using, all of these are fingering weight, by the way, all of my contrasts, and then I'm holding them double to achieve a DK weight gauge, which is what this cushion is. So yeah, this is Sunday by Sandus Garn, and then this purple, pink, this green, this purple, this green, and this blue. Those 6 colors were part of a mini skein set that I bought from Explore Knits and Fibers like 2 years ago. Yeah, it's just like a sock yarn mini skein set, and it was such an impulse purchase. I was like, what am I gonna do with like 6 minis that are all 20 grams? Like, I was like, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, this is the perfect pattern for it, and I think I'll have enough left over to probably make like a pair of stripy socks or something stripy and fun. So anyways, yeah, I just love these colors together. And then this orange is Filcolana Arwetta in the color Red Squirrel. And I love this orange. And I think, yeah, I think they all go really well together. I'm just excited for this to be over and yeah, to have the finished object. I think it'll be really fun. So yeah, you knit this first and then you knit the back, and the back will just be in my main color. It'll just be one big square of this. And I'm not looking forward to knitting that because I don't really like this yarn, but it's fine. I'll do it. Because I have like two more of these like unopened. I'm like, why did I get this much? I don't know. But yeah, excited to have this on our couch, and I think it'll be super cute. And I'll get my basket back and I'll be able to put something else in it. Yeah. So that's my other work in progress. And then, yeah, I have two more. One is like, maybe I'm gonna put in hibernation. I'll talk about that one first. So you may have seen this before. This is my mitten. What's the name of it? These are my, I can't remember the name of this pattern, but it'll be on the screen. So anyways, I've made one of these and I love it. But after I made one, this is a double lined mitten, which is awesome. So there's like a whole nother mitten inside, and it's super warm and cozy and delightful. I love the stripes. I love the thumb gusset. I think it's just super fun, cozy, stripy mitten. But yeah, it was a lot to make, you know? And after I made it, I was like, I don't want to make another one. So instead, I made my husband a pair of mittens, and I just still haven't casted on the second one of this. And so now I'm like, it's almost spring. Should I just make the second one next winter? So I'm debating like if I should just put these in hibernation till next year. So anyways, yeah, I love this. I love the pattern. It's great. And I'm using Coast to Coast, once again, Coast to Coast sock yarn, classic sock. Why am I still wearing this? Coast to Coast sock yarn. And this is the color Dark Academia. And it is so beautiful. I feel like it's not showing up on camera very well, but it's just got these beautiful, like subtle variegation of browns and burgundies almost. It's so pretty. And then I'm using Filcolana Arwetta in the color Marzipan. And then I'm using, for the inside, for the like contrast, I'm using the same as I used in my quilt cushion, the Sunday by Sandus Garn in the color Croissant. And I think these colors go really well together. So anyways, yeah, I might just finish this mitten next year because like I'm probably not, it might snow again, but I'm probably not gonna need these till next year. So I'm not really motivated to work on them, but and then my last whip is, oh, just kidding. This is my second to last whip. I forgot I have another one. This is a hat. This is like the easiest hat in the world. I am actually really excited about this because of the yarn. So this yarn, if you remember from any of my previous videos, I talked about how my husband's boss ended up buying us some yarn because he found out that I knit and my husband like hit a certain sales goal. Anyways, this is, I'm gonna butcher the name. I think it's pronounced Kivut yarn. This is yarn from the musk ox, which is found in Alaska, and this yarn is very luxurious, super warm. Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm making the Gather Garter Hat by Lindsay Deegan, I think is how you say her last name. And yeah, it's just a rectangle right now. And it is garter stitch. And then at the end I will like gather up the top and then do a folded brim. Yeah, I can't show it, but yeah, do a folded brim and gather up the top, and it'll be a great little hat. I'm making this for my husband, and it's just gonna be super warm. The musk ox is like, they produce some of the finest, or like some of the softest, warmest fiber, like of any animal, I think. And so yeah, so we were gifted 2 skeins of this, and each skein is 20 grams. It's lace weight, so super thin. And the pattern actually calls for, the pattern is fingering weight, and it calls for, I think, 3mm needles. And I tried that with this yarn, but it was like the gauge, it was just too open and like airy. And so I went down in needle size. So I'm knitting this on 2.75mm needles, and I don't mind it, but it's taking a long time. So this has taken me a while to get this far, and I have just a little bit of yarn left, and then I have another ball of this, so I'll have to at least get to that point. I think I have to knit it to like 18 inches or something. So I have like 5 more inches, but yeah, this is gonna be such a luxurious, warm hat, and I'm really excited for my husband to have it. So yeah, super thankful that we were gifted this yarn, and yeah, it's just really special. So that is my second to last whip. Okay, so my last work in progress is the Olive Sweater by Knitting for Olive. And I'm making this for my daughter, who she just turned 4. Her birthday was in February. And I actually had the bright idea to cast this on 2 weeks before her birthday in hopes of it being finished, which was a big mistake because here we are in March, a month later, and it's not done, but that's okay. This is what I have so far, and I am knitting this with Drops Baby Merino held together with Drops Kid Silk Mohair in the color North Sea for both of them. This is what the mohair looks like, but unfortunately I ran out of yarn for the Baby Merino. So I don't know how that happened, because I have like a cuff and a whole sleeve left to knit, and somehow I still like underestimated the amount of, like, I don't know how that happened, because I just bought what would be required for her size, and my gauge is good. So I'm just confused, like, why did I not have enough yarn? But anyways, maybe I like misordered or something. But yeah, I love this pattern. This is a top-down charted pattern, and I have really enjoyed it. But it takes a lot of focus. Like, I have to look at the pattern almost the whole time. Sometimes I can look at a row and be like, okay, like I kind of have it memorized, and then I can just knit that row, but then I have to look again. So yeah, I think because of that, if I would have knit like a stockinette sweater for her, I think I could have had it finished by her birthday. But because this is all over lace and I ran out of yarn, there was no way that I was gonna finish it by her birthday, but that's okay. Yeah, this is, my daughter has blue eyes, and I think she looks really, really cute in blue, and so I've knit her like multiple blue things, and I just love this. Like, this yarn is such a pretty, like dusty teal almost. I just think it's really beautiful. Yeah, there's a raglan that goes down the side of each, for each sleeve. And then there's like no short rows on this, which was nice. And I think it'll still fit her nicely. But yeah, 2x2 rib details. And I already kind of want to make one for my other daughter who's 2. I think it'd just be really cute. And then like Knitting for Olive has Olive baby patterns, and I'm pregnant. I'm like, I could knit something for our baby. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, this is my last work in progress. And then yeah, that is all that I have as far as works in progress goes. I do have one more thing I guess I'll share really quick. I recently went to the Yarn Barn in Lawrence, Kansas, which is a yarn shop. And I live in Kansas City, and so I've been really wanting to get out to the Yarn Barn. I've never been there before. And for Christmas, my husband got me a gift card there. So I was really excited to check it out. So a few weekends ago, we went and I was able to get some yarn. And I was just overwhelmed because there's so much there. It's a really big yarn store, and there were just so many options. And I went in with like no plan, which was not a good idea because I was just overwhelmed. But yeah, I finally decided on a project, on yarn and a project. And because I'm the type of like person, I like to have a pattern in mind when I buy yarn. I don't like buying yarn like randomly and then picking a pattern later. That's the way my mind works. So yeah, so I decided on this nature spun yarn. This is 100% US grown wool, and I fell in love with these colors. But I'm going to make the Olga sweater by Petite Knit, which is a striped drop shoulder DK light worsted weight pattern. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to use these colors. And I was really inspired by some like really bright and unique colorful versions that I saw on Ravelry. And yeah, I just decided I wanted to do some fun colors. So this is the color Winter Blue, and it's just like the perfect dusty, I don't know, I just love it, this dusty blue. It's so beautiful. And then this is the color Golden Honey, and also one of my favorite colors. And so I'm really excited to have this. And to make it, I already knit a swatch. I got three balls of each color. I'm thinking I'm gonna make probably size small, which requires about 300 grams of each color. So that's what I got. Hopefully I shouldn't have like gone by, I probably should have gone by yardage instead, but it is what it is. So I swatched on 4mm needles, and this is my swatch. I love the way the fabric looks. Before I blocked it, I measured my gauge and I was off by 1 stitch, 1 row stitch. And so I was like, okay, that's not that big of a deal. I don't know if that warrants me going up a needle size. So I decided to block it and then check my gauge again. And when I blocked it, my gauge is spot on. So that's great. Yeah, I feel like it didn't grow like that much, but it must have like evened out. So yeah, I think that this will be just such a fun stripy sweater. So I'm really excited. I've never used this yarn before, but when I was knitting the swatch, it was super smooth and really nice to work with. So I'm excited for that. I think when I finish my quilt cushion, I am going to cast this on. Maybe before I finish that. Probably before I finish that, I'll cast this on. And yeah, excited to get started on it. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me for another knitting podcast. I just love talking about this stuff, and I hope that it inspires your creativity, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.